Good morning, glorious being. It is lovely to see you. It's really nice to be outside because the rain's gone. You can hear the birds. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to show you the sky, which is just, well, extravagantly beautiful. Look at that. Let me just turn around. I'm standing on my steps. They're not my back steps, but, well, they go nowhere. They go to the street above, but they're blocked off at the top. So I'm going to show you the sky right above because it's fabulous. Good morning, beautiful beings. I can see you coming on. It's lovely. I'm grateful that you share your time and your energy with me. And there's the sky towards the east, and you can see the sun there. Shielded by clouds, but and a tree, in fact. But nonetheless, sun. And it's beautiful. Good morning, Andrew. It's great to see you. It's lovely when Facebook tells me who you are, but it doesn't always. And here's the garden. Of course you've got to see the garden. Oh, thanks for all the floaty hearts. Hi, Linda. Hi, Zella. Oh, there's so many pictures in the clouds. I think, leaves are a little bit more recognisable as something, but when you have something like this, it reminds you of the sea, especially when it's moving in the wind. Look at this. I just love everything here. And bliss of bliss, there's raindrops on it. Good morning, Heather. Good morning to everybody. It's great to see you. Some things I want to show you here. We still have iris, despite the fact, there's a fresh one, despite the fact that, we have weather and they get worn out. It's just so beautiful. Get closer. You can see all the clarity and the shape and the detail, and you have to imagine the scent. It's glorious. And look at this. Just don't go past grass. I know, it's just grass, but really, let me see if I can get this in focus for you. Look at that. Look at the detail. Isn't it beautiful? I just love grass, really. It's something you got to manage, not let it take over the world, but it's beautiful. And there's the iris bed. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to walk in the garden here because it's safer. Show you some of the granny's bonnet. It's just so profuse. The camera's a bit confused about where to focus. I'm going to try and get that sorted out. There you go. Now it's sharp. Isn't it glorious? Good morning, Sang Marie. I'm glad you can see this garden time. All the way from the other side of the world. Well, so many of you are on the other side of the world. And here we have this one, which is fabulous. Again, the camera's a bit confused. Look at this. There you go. See, it's a double one. And, these bits that stick out the side are an afterthought. Most of it is going into the flowery part. It's just beautiful. I love these shapes. Good morning, Jan. And there's something I want to show you over here that I haven't showed you. Come on, camera, sort it out. There's one, they seed, right? And I work very hard to not let the granny's bonnet take over the world. But this is a new one. And isn't it fabulous? I've never seen this one here before. I would guess it's a hybrid between one of the pink ones and the blue and white ones, and it's come out pink and white. And it's beautiful. I'm just delighted by this. Just let me see if there you go, now it's sharp. Isn't it glorious? Good morning, Julian. Good evening to you. Showing off the new kid on the block. This is the granny's bonnet that got a couple of flowers last year, but this is its first proper flowering. It's a smaller one. It's not as vigorous and crazy as the bigger ones, but it's beautiful. And let's not forget the soldiers and sailors. Look at this. Focus. There we go. Aren't they glorious? So it's lovely to be able to share this with you. And look at the foliage there. Mike, good morning. Afternoon. I'm assuming it's not 3:40 in the morning, although people have been known to be on very early in the morning, and I count it an honour. Oh look, this is the sign of potential things to come. And look, the very first flower starting to happen. The rest of them will take a bit longer, but this is the crazy wild rose that, well, goes crazy. So, you can see things are going to happen. Yes, PM. Okay, thanks, Mike. I'm assured you're not up in the middle of the night. Let's enjoy the snow in summer. It's wet, right? So it's it's hanging under the wave. Beautiful. Get a bit closer. So yeah, these are the things that are happening here. Look at this. Aren't we just going to have clouds of Nigella flowers in a little while? That's the green fluffy stuff there. And we've got Japanese iris. There's so much happening up here. The key thing in any garden is to cover the ground. Oh, it's fine if you don't like flowers. I'm definitely a flower person. Everyone's different. I've been gardening here for 30 years now, and it shows. So, what I want to talk about today is this whole business of catching ourselves. Yesterday we were talking about breaking habits. And one of the things you have to do when you're breaking a habit is catch yourself. You can't do anything until you notice, right? And it was our lovely Misty who made the comment about, sometimes I don't even notice that I'm losing the plot. But the fact that she has noticed that she doesn't notice is brilliant. Matsu, it's lovely to see you. The fact that she's noticed that she didn't notice is actually a massive thing. Because until you realise how unconscious you are running around the world most of the time, you can't change that. So the first thing is to notice. And I thought, well, how do you notice when you're not used to noticing? How do you notice that you're not used to noticing? How can I talk for 20 minutes about that? But I bet you I will, because it's really important. What we're talking about is awareness. And yeah, there's a link to mindfulness. There's lots of ways of doing this, but how do I do it? How do I do it? Because it's pretty automatic for me now to pay attention. But I don't know if it always was automatic, or whether I was always paying attention, but I didn't know what to pay attention to. Maybe that's more true about me. I don't know. I can't remember. I was somebody else at the time. And I mean that. I'm just not who I used to be. I'm somebody that I'm more comfortable being and that I like a lot better. Even though I really appreciate who I used to be. There's little clues in there. You've got to appreciate who you are, because it really helps you move on to become who you want to be. So, to pay attention, well, it all starts with realising that there's something in your life you want to change. And sooner or later, if you get determined and you also embrace the thought and the idea that how you think and what you do and how you feel is what creates your life, you got to embrace that. If you don't believe that's true, well, then none of this applies. But if you do believe that you have something to do with creating your life through your thoughts and your actions and your feelings, then sooner or later you're going to think, well, somehow I must be perpetuating this situation that I'm in that I've said I want to change. Yeah, I love every act in the play. I like that. So, if I am perpetuating the life that I have, and there's good bits of it that I'm perpetuating, but there's bits that I don't like as well. And if I want to change those bits that I don't like, or if I'm making changes but I want those changes to turn out spectacularly well, and I've had the experience of making changes and having it all go, belly up, I was going to say something else, then how am I going to have a different outcome? How am I going to do this differently? And that's the point at which you start saying, well, if my life was different, how would I like it to be? What would it be like if I felt good? How would it be if I was going to behave differently? How would I think? How would I feel? What would I do? We start to create this alternate reality, and it can feel like a completely alternate reality and like we're insane even imagining it, particularly if you've been how you're used to being for a very long time. There's all kinds of resistance that happens in your body and brain that says, no, you can't do that, and you don't go there. And it's because you're looking at the unknown. You're looking at the unknown, and the body and the mind is saying, no, we like it here, thank you very much. You may be miserable, but we know how to be miserable. Stay here. It's familiar. We know how to survive. That's just what the body and the brain do, because it's evolutionary. if you ran away from a tiger and you found the escape route, you want to remember the escape route and you want to live somewhere that's far away from the tiger. That's just sensible. But if you want to go somewhere new in your life, you're going to have to go somewhere unknown. And you've got to realise that means thinking new thoughts and having new behaviours so you can have new experiences and have new feelings. And then, if the thought that you are thinking and the feeling that you're having creates an electromagnetic signature that broadcasts to every atom in the universe, and you continually are collapsing all of the limitless possibilities that are out there on the unified field into this pattern of light and energy that is your life, well, if you're going to think and behave and feel differently, you're going to get something different. That's the quantum law. Can you tell? I've been listening to Dr. Joe explaining this again. It's just so good for me to review the information because it reminds me of the truth. Because I observe that this works. This is science. It's not, some new age whatever. This is how it works. Because I proved it. I'm proving it. I'm still proving it every day for myself. So I'm speaking from experience here. So how do I notice? Well, you need the contrast, right? You need the contrast between who you know you are now that you don't wish to be and who you do want to be. You need to have enough clarity. And you may only have a little bit because if you're going somewhere unknown, you hardly know where you're going. And this trips a lot of people up. They think, well, I can't imagine my life when I have enough money or I'm not being abused or whatever. I can't imagine it. And so they get stuck with that. But the very reason that you want your life to change is because you know there's something else out there. So whatever that something else is, whether it is the freedom to not give a flying toss about what other people think, or the freedom to be able to spend money so that you can do what you like to support yourself and to love other people and change the world. Or, I don't know, you have the people to contribute with you, to co-create things that you think, I know I want to do this thing, but I need people to do it with me. Whatever it is that you can barely imagine, you must have some idea of how that works for you, of how it feels, or, what you'll be doing. There'll be some little corner of that. And so you start to have some idea of what it is that you're moving into. You start to have some people's idea of what you're moving in. Some idea of what you're moving into and some idea of where you're coming from. And so you start to choose some small aspect of who it is you want to be. Let me just read this, Linda. Oh, that is very interesting, isn't it? That is very interesting. I think I'll write in response to that. It's very interesting, Linda. Yeah, sometimes what we desire doesn't come to us the way that we desire it. And I can actually see how that could be possible. So, yeah, it's very interesting. We've got to let go of how we think things should happen. Thank you for reminding me of that, because we get this idea. We think, well, this is how I think it should be, and this is how I want to feel, and all that stuff. I think it should be this way, but we actually have to let go of that. You can have ideas, but you mustn't get attached to them. So, sidetracked. Good sidetracked. So, you have some idea. So, Linda, you've been imagining the fenced yard and peace and quiet and solitude. And the thing is that the fenced yard and the peace and the quiet and the solitude give you a certain feeling. So I know, because you're doing this work like I am, that you are concentrating on the feeling. How does it feel to just have peace and quiet to myself? Oh, it's so good. And you give your body a taste of the experience, even in the middle of your crazy life, right? That's what I'm doing too with my own things. So that in itself is a choice to feel something different. Right in the middle of everything. Nothing's changed on the outside. Well, it has actually, hasn't it? It's been amazing. But we embody our higher selves exactly however that is. Just, I'm feeling more peace and more space today, right in the middle of my crazy. And you align your energy, become more coherent, and it is like dropping great big rocks in the lake, actually. You make stronger waves when you become more coherent. And the collective does respond. You're totally right, Andrew. And Linda's example is a great one, actually. But, you choose that for any state of being that you want to embody, because it's actually a state of being. You're thinking, you're acting, you're being. You're thinking and feeling, and what you're doing is your state of being. Amy, good morning, honey. And I can embody now a state of absolute wealth, right in the situation where I am, where there's lots of money I need to spend on my house to fix it, and I can't pay for this, and I can't pay for that. I can feel so wealthy. It's awesome. I love that feeling. And so, I can do that. But it's a choice. Because, in the last little while, I've had to say to the people that are able to give me funds so that I don't go under, hey, I need some more. And before, that used to trigger so much resentment, frustration, because my income still isn't sufficient to, equal my outgo. And of course, gratitude that I have this resource that's available to me, and it is mine. I'm just accessing it a bit ahead of time. But I used to feel so much frustration about that. This is how much I've changed about money. I can't do this. Now I absolutely know I can. I really do. I feel wealthy in me. And it is thought, and then it has to become action. I have to behave and show up and be wealthy right in the middle of my life. And so Linda's challenge is to show up as a peaceful, spacious person when there is no peace and no space. And if you're unwell, your challenge is to show up as a healthy, happy person when you're still feeling sick. Because, clear intention, elevated emotion, that's the signal that we give to the universe. So that is the change we're looking at making from one state of being to the other state of being. And the flip-flop is, oh my God, my body's really hurting today. How on earth can I feel healthy? Oh my God, I've got no energy. I can barely open my eyes, never mind focusing. You want me to feel peaceful and spacious? Are you mad? But that's the challenge, right? So, old state, new state, choice to inhabit one or the other. All of that comes because you've noticed what you want to be. And then as you're starting to get clearer about what your state is that you want to embody, you have to embody it. It is not enough to think it. You got to feel it and you got to live it. You got to breathe it and smell it and taste it and hear it and make it you. Totally make it you. I'm amazed I can stand here and say I feel wealthy. I do. I feel so wealthy. Like I've got millions of dollars in the bank and I know exactly what I'm spending it on, and hardly any of it's on me. There's things I want to buy, but so much for other people. It's just what I want to do. It feels really good to feel wealthy, independent of my bank balance. But I can flip out of that. I can fall out of it when there's a stimulus in my will that says, but your bank account's gone down to, you need to ask more money. Oh, you haven't done it yet. You haven't made it yet. You're not good enough. You can't do it. You've been trying to do it for 40 years and you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. You're useless. Blah, 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 blah. So I got to notice when that happens. That's the challenge. You have this ideal of who you want to be, and you got to notice from moment to moment when you're not doing that. And you know it by contrast, quite right, Matu. And the moment you notice the contrast is the moment you have the choice about how you respond. Respond, not react. And that is what we were talking about yesterday, really. That sometimes your response is, oh my God, I'm losing my mind here. And of course, you probably need to lose that mind. You need to lose that mind of poverty or sickness or loneliness or whatever it is. You need to lose that mind. So, when you feel like you are losing your mind because the choosing is so intense, keep choosing. Be kind to yourself. Love yourself. Have compassion on yourself for the times that it's really, really difficult, but don't give up. Because when you're encountering that intense resistance, it's because something's actually changing. Really, truly. When you're encountering that intense resistance, it's because things are starting to change in your brain and your body is actually starting to change, and it's the last-ditch resistance of the old chemistry and the old thinking and the old way of being saying, no, I don't want to die. That's truly what happens. And if it's an old, very habitual, entrenched state of being where you're strongly conditioned to it and there's a lot of neural hardware, there's going to be a bit of a tussle from time to time. And sometimes you're going to feel like you've been wrestled to the floor, and sometimes you're going to come up trumps. The point is to notice it. To notice it, make a conscious choice. Because really, I know we talked about addictions yesterday. You could, being more broad, you could say that we are all addicted to our current state of being. We all have a habitual state of being about who we used to being and how we used to feeling, what we used to thinking and doing and showing up in our lives. And if you embrace the quantum model of reality, which says that your thinking and your behaviour and your feeling creates your life, then the only way to create a different life is to change your habitual thinking and feeling and behaving. That's it. And it means paying attention and choosing who you want to be and realising that there's going to be a process while you break your old addictions to who you've been and your old emotions, and you break down, you prune apart all those synaptic connections about who you used to be, and you start thinking new thoughts and firing and wiring those together. That's the choice. That's what we're doing all the time. That's really it, you know. Starts with awareness. And I don't know if I actually said, how do I do this? But I pay attention. Oh, that's what I want. It's just, finally it comes back to me. How do I do this? I know I've fallen out of the new self that I want to be when I feel bad. And yes, we keep our old self alive by giving it attention. You're right, the bad feelings, we're so familiar to them, we put our attention on them and try to fix them. No! When you have a bad feeling, don't try to fix it. Get your attention off it and put it on what you want to feel instead. Sometimes that can be very hard to do, and I recommend, this is what I say. You've heard me say this very recently. When I start having a bad feeling, the first thing, and Maddie, you've got to open your focus. You've got to open your focus. You've got to get your attention off that thing that is saying, this is a tiger, look at me and run away. I've got to not do that. I've got to open my focus, I've got to relax, I've got to slow my brain down, and then I can bring up the different feeling that I want to feel. That's it. That's how it works. That's how I do it. I feel bad, and then I know I got some changing to do. It comes up so I can overcome it. That's what it's for. That's our privilege as human beings to do this. As crazy hard as it can be. That's what we're about. Yeah, it works. We can turn the ship when we grab the helm. Totally. Ha! It's awesome that you are changing. It's never too late, Matu. Proud of you. Big love, beautiful people. I am going to jump on again in 3.5 hours because I want to do a little spiel about this meditation that I put up. I don't know if you've seen it. Probably you have, but if you haven't, I'm going to jump on quickly and try and talk about it, which is interesting because, I'll catch you in 3.5 hours if it works. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go and look on my page and you'll see there's a meditation, and it's very appropriate for right now. Good for you, Julian. Some days we really have to choose ourselves. What do we believe in more, our past or our future? And you won't give in. I know you. Big love to all of you. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.